welcome to a brand new season in the 2017 FIM CEV Repsol. We're here live in Albacete in southern Spain. And what a start to the championship we have got. The crowds have been flocking in. We're in for our first dry day of running all weekend. It is a brand new dawn in the 2017 FIM CEV Repsol. 18 laps await the European Talent Cup, 6 left-hand corners, 8 right-hand turns around the 3.5-kilometre circuit here in southern Spain in Albacete. As I mentioned, our first dry day of the 2017 season so far. It was bucketing it down yesterday, and it was also bucketing it down on Friday as well, which has led to quite a few setup changes needing to be made ahead of the day's action. The European Talent Cup, of course, launches in 2017, a brand new championship on the FIM CEV Repsol calendar. And they will be racing on the standard Honda NSF 250R machines, the similar bikes that we have seen in the Asia Talent Cup as well. My name is Tom Brooks, and alongside me for this season is Dakota Momola. Riders and teams lining up on the grid ahead of a day's racing. We're very, very excited to get this season underway. And let's welcome in Dakota. Dakota, a very good morning to you, and welcome back to CEV in 2017.
Hey Tom, it's nice to be back here in Albacete. Finally sunshine. I know it's been raining here the past 3 days, so hopefully we'll have some good races. Like you said, you know, having this new challenge over here, the European Cup. We have all these young talented riders that are new, and this new class should be interesting.
Absolutely, yeah. As you said, it's really nice here today. Well, I say a bit nice. It's quite windy as well, which is certainly going to affect these lightweight machines here today. But the first dry day of running that we've had so far in the 2017 season, which is going to be very, very important. Qualifying yesterday was wet, which has led to a very big shake-up on the grid compared to what we were expecting, certainly here for this season. And it's going to be a very, very exciting race. We'll run you through the grid very, very soon and tell you a bit more about the championship very shortly as well. But we were having a look up and down pit lane earlier on today, Dakota, having a look at some of the machinery. And it's surprising just how small these Honda NSF 250R machines are.
Yeah, you know, they're basically like pre-Moto 3 bikes. It's basically a bike to kind of get them prepared for the Moto 3 bike and make the bigger step up. They do look amazingly fun, and I'm sure we're going to get some really fun battles with these young kids. I'm 100% sure there's a lot of hungry kids out here that want to win it, and yeah, it should be a fun class. Like I said, I think CEV and Dorna have organized this pretty well, and also I was looking at the at the sheets, and there's not that many Spanish, in the Spanish championship. It's great. You know, it's great to see people from all over the world, and especially for the World Championship, this is what we need: is people not Spanish or Italian, because there's already a lot of talented people from there. And yeah, it's going to be definitely an interesting class.
Absolutely. We've got riders from Denmark, we've got riders from Spain, we've got riders from the Czech Republic, Brazil, Italy, France, Great Britain as well, a couple of Britons in the field. So it's set to be one of the most exciting seasons.
I'm looking for the Americans. We need some Americans down here.
I'm sure it's only a matter of time before we get the American Talent Cup underway. But we were just looking actually a few moments ago at the poleman, Maikon Gahara. Wet conditions. He's actually a Brazilian rider, despite being born in Japan and having a very Japanese style of name.
That's kind of like me, born in Spain with an American father and a Belgian mom. So
I wonder if he speaks 4 different languages like yourself as well.
When they ask me, all the time where you're from, I just don't even know what to respond anymore.
Oh, dearie me. But yes, the Honda NSF 250R machines, 4-stroke machines, of course, 250 cc's. That man there, Manuel Gonzalez, he starts from the head of row 2 in 4th position. Keep an eye out for him, because he could be a bit of a dark horse in this race, and was actually, after the warm-up this morning, in 3rd position as well. And the first dry session we've had of the day, although it was a bit damp in a few places on track.
I'm not sure if they came here testing. Do you know if they came here testing?
I think they did a couple of weeks ago, yeah, but it was only a select few riders.
Right. So, no, like I said, it's going to be a complete different race. Just having to ride in the rain the past 3 days and going, because warm-up was in the wet for them because they were the first warm-up out. So, but like you said, it's becoming more and more windy, and these light bikes, I know in the wind don't cope so well. So, but yeah, it's going to be definitely an interesting one. It's a new championship, so we won't know, really just yet who's going to be up front, but it's going to be basically a free-for-all right now.
Absolutely, yeah. We were just looking at Simon Jespersen, the Danish rider. He's riding with Team Jespersen. Unlike the Asia Talent Cup, by the way, just in case you are wondering, we do have different liveries on these bikes as well. In the Asia Talent Cup, they all run the same liveries, and the only differentials we see are the numbers and the helmets, and a couple of maybe leather flashes, shall we say, just to distinguish the riders. But in the European Talent Cup, they've all got different liveries. They're all lining up with different teams as well. And one of the things I really liked when I was having a look around the paddock yesterday was we've got riders who are lining up with really impressive teams, such as the Realia Vintia Academy, really big teams, but also as well riders who are with smaller teams as well, perhaps competing with their father, and they've come over here and they've got the bike, and
Well, I know Dorna's brought all these bikes from the Asia Talent Cup, and like you said, father and son, they've probably bought the bike, put it in the back of their van, just like the old days, and let's go racing. And that's what racing's all about, I think, is basically putting the spirit into it. And it's great seeing all these different teams and so many riders. That's what's good about it. How many riders?
We've got 25 lining up on the grid for today's race.
So full grid, and full grid of young 12, 13-year-old kids that want to win. So. Let's just hope this wind dials down, because it's the guys on the grid with the umbrellas are basically fine.
Yeah, they certainly are. There's Alex Toledo, rider number 55. Keep an eye out for him as well. He lines up 7th on the grid, and he could be a bit of an interesting catalyst in this race. And preparations just taking place before we get the green flag to go. And it is going to be one that is very, very exciting indeed. In the European Talent Cup, there will be 18 laps that these riders will have to do. And it's a very tricky circuit, this as well. Runs, of course, in a clockwise direction, but a lot of different changes. Of course, right-hand turns, left-hand turns, some fast kinks as well.
Yeah, when I raced here in 2014, the track was actually different. So they've actually repaved it and changed basically the first sector and last sector. Some people like it more than others, but I know the front straight's a little shorter, and the back, the last sector is a little safer than before. I think they did it also for safety reasons. But go ahead.
We've got this man here, Jamie Davis. He's the youngest rider in the field, just 12 years of age, lining up with the FAL 55 racing team. And I happened to be chatting to Hector Falbell, of course, team manager of the FAL 55 racing team. And he was so impressed with how Davis has done so far and how well he's adapted to this bike as well. He's looking really good out there and lining up in a good position on the grid as well.
No, definitely. In these categories, you get to see the young, the young coming ups. You get to see the young riders who actually, have a chance, and you'll see young talented riders that you'll think, oh, this guy is gonna be good. And these are the classes where you need to keep an eye out on them fast riders, and this is where Moto3 teams are all looking for new riders coming up, because all the Moto3 guys are going to move up to Moto2 in the next years. So.
Well, absolutely. And one of the real big incentives of this European Talent Cup is that one of the top 5 riders will make the step up to the Junior Moto3 World Championship in 2018 as well.
Yeah, you see, that's the same as Moto3. If you're going to be in the top 5, you're most likely going to go to the World Championship. And top 5 from last year are all in the World Championship. So yeah, it's going to be a good one.
It certainly is. And we've just had confirmation through about the tyres that all of the riders are going to be starting on. And a unanimous verdict from the top 10, all lining up on the medium times on front and rear.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure if they have I'm not quite sure if the soft would work here. I think medium's the safest to go, and usually when most riders do it, everyone goes with that option. But anyways, I know these tires won't, they won't chew up much with these bikes. They're too small for them to be to rip apart. But anyways, 15. How many laps? 15 laps?
18 laps.
It should be fine.
Indeed, Francisco Gomez there, the number 9. He's set to be a very interesting man in this race. He's been training in pit bikes and in motocross in the off-season as well, and also raced in the RMFE Moto3 Championship last year. And we see a lot of riders who are doing this motocross training in the off-season. How much does that help the body, and how much does it help physically when you're riding?
Well, one of the main reasons is because in December, January, most of the racetracks close. Circuits, you know, so motocross and supermotor is basically the only other option to train on a motorcycle. So motocross, though, is a really dangerous sport. You always see these riders breaking bones, and because of all these, you know, kids trying to jump, and which we all love, you know, us racers. So but it's a great way of training too, especially for upper body. It gets you really, but even for discipline's great, motocross. And I think most riders do it because it's the closest sport to road racing that we can have a good time on a motorcycle and keep fit.
Absolutely. We just saw Andrzej Vostatek, the Czech Republic rider, racing with the ETJ racing team for this season. Competed in Pre-Moto 3 last year and looking good there on the motorcycle as well. And he lines up in 15th position on the grid. It's set to be a very, very exciting race as well. We've got, as we said, Maikon Gahara on the front row of the grid, starting in pole position. Let's run you through that grid now then. So it is Maikon Gahara, or Kawakami, as we shall refer to him now. The Brazilian rider who starts from pole position. Joan Uvinha is on alongside him. Andreas Perez in third position. Row 2 is Manuel Gonzalez, Simon Jespersen and Fal Cañero. Alex Toledo heads row 3. Miguel Parra and then Jamie William Davis, the first Briton on the grid. He lines up in 9th position. Row 4, Iker Garcia, Edouard Melgar and Aurel Nai Velake. Row 5, Francisco Gomez, Stefano Kristin and Andrzej Vostatek. Heading back to row 7, Matthew Gregorio, Colin Feldwesthuizen, Callum James Blackwell in the number 57. He lines up in 21st position. Jack Hart as well, number 2, the Scottish rider. He is in row 8 in 22nd position. Victor Alonso and Samantha Johansson rounding out the grid order. So set to be a very, very exciting race. The grid now being cleared and the riders will head up onto their warm-up lap to get crucial heat in their tyres there, Dakota.
Yeah, the sun's coming out now, and it's cloudy, so the sun keeps creeping in and out, but here we go, the warm-up lap. Warm-up lap's always super, super important for us. To get them tires warm. You know, you don't want to be slowing around that lap, because as soon as you get on that grid and the lights go off, you're on go time. And our worst fear for a racer is basically having a cold tire and going in there, because you have just no expectation of crashing, especially with so many riders around you, and you're always afraid of someone in the back, you know, making a mistake or whatever and collecting you. So this lap's really important to get them heat in the tires, and you actually have to push. You know, I don't understand riders that don't push in a warm-up lap. You have to push because you need to create that, you know, heat in the tire. And then the poor guys that come around on the grid and they're waiting there for the guys that are, you know, playing abouts on that warm-up lap. It's just not fair. I know in the World Championship they talk about that a lot. You know, there's a certain time limit that you need to do the lap, and but yeah, it's super important.
Absolutely. So the riders just on their warm-up lap to get that crucial heat into their Michelin tyres. And then we'll get this first round of the European Talent Cup in 2017 underway. And it's going to be Maikon Yuji Gahara Kawakami who starts the race from pole position. Alongside him will be Joan Uvinha and Andreas Perez. Keep an eye out for that front row. But also row 2 as well. Manuel Gonzalez, Simon Jespersen and Fal Cañero rounding out the second row of the grid. And any one of those 2 rows really could manage to get the whole shot in towards that first corner.
Yeah, I mean, with these light-weighted kids, I mean, even guy in third could, you know, get in the first, because it's for these guys the straight's pretty long. So any draft, you could draft about 4 or 5 bikes. And just like in Moto3, you know, I've seen so many races where guys have been 7th place and been all the way to first from the last corner to the first corner. So, yeah, you'll never know. Well, it'll be interesting. You just need to really have a good start here and here comes the first race of the season.
Indeed, yeah. Maikon Yuji Kawakami takes his pole position on the grid. A new era, a brand new dawn in the FIM CEV Repsol with the European Talent Cup. Riders making their places on the grid. The red flag man is at the front. We wait for that green flag to be waved once all of the riders are in their grid slot. And then we will get the European Talent Cup and the FIM CEV Repsol underway in 2017. Kawakami on pole. Uvinia alongside him. Andreas Perez. We wait for the red lights to go on. The green flag is waved at the back. And the European Talent Cup in 2017 is underway. A great start from Uvinia. Kawakami struggles to get away. And also Perez getting a good start as well as we head down towards the first corner for the first time. Looks like Uvinia's got the whole shot. Or is it going to be Perez? Or is Kawakami going to fight back? It is going to be Perez by the looks of things into the first corner first here at Albacete. And thankfully everybody making it very cleanly through. So Andreas Perez leads the way. A brilliant start from all involved. And Kawakami there, Dakota, all the way down to 4th position off the opener. A bit of a bad start for him.
Yeah, I think he got a little bit bunched up in turn 1. But anyways, if you're in the top 5 here, you're going to be fine. This looks like it's going to be a big group, but it's just the early start of the race, so it'll be interesting to see. No, seems like everyone made it through okay, which is good.
Absolutely, yeah. Manuel Gonzalez now into 2nd place. It looks like Uvinia's into 3rd, whilst Kawakami tries to make inroads into the group in front of him. But a great start from all involved. So yes, Uvinia now in 3rd position, and he will try to be chased down, trying to chase down the leaders. But leading the way, Andreas Perez, a great start from him on the opening lap here in Albacete as they come in towards the final part of the lap. A bit of a look up the inside there as Miguel Pata looks to try and make inroads in towards the top 5. Not able to quite do anything at the moment, but nonetheless making a good start. And now we come on to this slight straight where we're going to see a few slipstreams, and we're going to see a change of lead as well as Manuel Gonzalez hits the front. A brilliant getaway there from Manuel Gonzalez coming into the final sector of the lap, and it's all to play for with 5 riders battling for position as well. And Kawakami right at the back is in the pound seats here if anything does go wrong there, Dakota.
This is what racing's all about here. We love a little bit of battles, and this is what's great about these classes. You know, they're all so similar, and it's all about the rider. And here we go. Like I said, you know, slipstream's so important in this class. You can go from 3rd to 1st. So no, I mean, it's just early. There's still 17 laps to go. Oh, nice little shuffle there.
Indeed, yeah. Perez getting shuffled down the order now into 3rd position as Uvinia goes past, but Gonzalez leads the way. Gonzalez leads the way. Here comes Perez, though, back up the inside of Uvinia. Will he make the move stick? He's certainly thinking about it. Looks like he's got it done and dusted here for now. Now into 2nd place goes Perez, so Uvinia down into 3rd position. Keep an eye out as well for Miguel Pata. He could prove to be a very interesting catalyst in this race. Meanwhile, all the riders towards the back end of this group now starting to bunch up as well. Just saw Alex Toledo on the number 55, sitting in about 6th or 7th. So leading the way at the moment is Andreas Perez. He's got the good start. He is lining up very well on the grid and sitting in the lead of this race just by a couple of tenths of a second. It's certainly all to play for as Uvinia looks to try and get a move. So it is Gonzalez who leads the way, not Perez, my mistake. So Gonzalez with the lead, the clear track out in front of him. And it's so difficult. We've seen this in Moto3 so many times, Dakota, to get that breakaway on these bikes.
Yeah, it's really tough because, like I said, you could be, you know, in the corners. You could in sector 1 and 2, you could gain, you know, 0.3 or 0.4 and do that extra effort. But then in the 3rd sector where there's that little tiny straight, they'll just regain that, you know, 0.3 super quick and easy. So I'm not saying it's pointless, but you could, you know, unless you have a second lap of a difference, you ain't gonna, it's gonna be really tough to break away from these guys.
Indeed, Miguel Pata now moves himself up into 3rd position and looks like he's going to try and go for the lead in towards the 1st corner. Will he manage to outbreak Gonzalez? No, not quite. And Perez gets him back as well. So Pata stays in 3rd position on that opening corner. No, Pata now up into 2nd place by the looks of things. So a great start there from Pata. A good few opening laps, and he's going to try and hit the front already ahead of Gonzalez. Will he manage to make it stick? Not quite through there. Has to sit it up and has to hold on for another day. And now Perez has got some company from behind in 3rd position, but Gonzalez leading the way as they come in towards this middle sector. And even these short straights on these bikes, Dakota, it's really important to get that slipstream, isn't it?
I mean, you're easily going to gain at least 2.2, 0.3 easily on these bikes. And I'm watching over here, and they've already gone a second quicker from their best lap time this morning, which is this morning in warm-up in the dry. So the conditions are, you know, full dry right now, and it looks like Toledo in 7th place has done the fastest time on a 40.8. But I'm sure those lap times are going to keep going down by, you know, once they start settling in.
Indeed, yeah. Kawakami now right on the back of Perez for 3rd position as well, but still leading the way. It is Gonzalez ahead of Para at the moment. They come in towards the final pass of the lap through that quick right-handed kink and then into this chicane. It's a good overtaking spot, and on the brakes goes Miguel Para. He tries his way up the inside of Gonzalez. Will he make it stick? He runs it wide, but he holds the line, and now he moves up into the lead of the race. So a great start there from Miguel Para. Moves ahead of Manuel Gonzalez in the opening stages as the riders come over the timing line. There's a great slipstream battle going on for 4th position as well. They're all very, very close on circuit, as you can see. Jump start as well for number 26. That's Miguel Para.
Miguel.
That's the leader. Unbelievable. So Miguel Para will have to go for a ride through, and that is effectively going to hand the lead to Manuel Gonzalez, if indeed he's able to hold on to it.
That's always a bad, you know, a bad sign when you're going down the front. Here we go.
Here we go.
The replay.
Let's have a look.
Yeah.
Oh,
he's moved.
He has, yeah, crept way too early there from the 3rd row. The yellow flag came out as well as somebody was slow away. So Para leads the way, and now he's going to be trying to absolutely rocket away out in front on board.
It's going to be tough to get, because it's basically a 30-second penalty if you got to do a drive-through, and it's going to be tough to gain back those 30 seconds, especially in this class.
Yeah, it's going to drop him right towards the back of the grid. We can see there race duration handing out the board, meaning that Miguel Para will have a penalty. I wonder if he knew that before the start of the race.
I'm sure he did. I mean, it was pretty clear he moved before even the lights came, you know, went off. So I'm not sure if he had a clutch issue or whatever. You never know. But it was pretty clear. I mean, he did do a jump start.
Indeed, Manuel Gonzalez then in 2nd place will become the inherited leader. There's some argy-bargy going on for 3rd position as well. In 3rd position currently it is Andreas Perez, who led, of course, for the opening stages. There was the pole man, now sitting in 4th position. This
might give Gonzalez, you know, a small break if as soon as Manuel has to come in for his pit lane. Not sure what lap it's going to be, but I think they give him 3 or 4 laps.
3 laps.
3 laps, yeah. Before he needs to go in. I'm sure they're putting it out on the signboard too. Because a lot of time us riders, we're so into the race, we don't even look at our boards or anything. And sometimes that could be a good thing, and sometimes that could even be a bad thing. But what's good about this class is we're going to see so many passes.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? And for these kids, you know, when they move up to Moto3, it's great because they're already used to passing so many times, and they come so aggressive already. That's what, you know, that's what Moto3 is, being aggressive and having the pass a lot.
Absolutely. Well, the top 5 really very close on circuit at the moment. Still leading the way, it is Para from Gonzalez. Meanwhile, Kawakami looks like he's got himself up into 3rd position, or at least he tried to, ahead of Perez. Yes, he is indeed. So Kawakami into 3rd place. Perez now down into 4th. The leader, Miguel Para, set the fastest lap last time around as well, a 1:40.451. But still, Gonzalez tries to find that way through.
Yeah, another second. Everyone's gone down. Like I said, you know, more laps they do, the quicker they're going to be gone. Especially after riding in the rain for the past 3 days, and weather seems to be, you know, good. Wind still picking up, but it doesn't seem to affect these boys right now. So
yeah,
I wonder if Miguel Para is going to be putting in this lap.
Indeed, yeah, he must have seen the pit board by now, but if not, it'll be displayed again as he comes over the timing line. I can see race direction from our commentary position, just displaying that board, so as soon as he comes over the line, he'll see it once again, I'm sure, if indeed he doesn't come in for this lap. But Gonzalez will effectively lead the way once he goes. There we go. So into the pit lane, will we see a few shakes of the head over the line? It is Gonzalez who leads the way. Miguel Para shaking the head, smacking the tank as well. He wasn't very happy at all, was he?
Typical rider. We all have the same, you know. It's not a good feeling when you're leading the race and having to do a pit lane. Indeed. It's just not a good feeling.
Yeah, Perez now into 3rd position as Para goes out of pit lane and now right towards the back of the field. Don't think he's quite at the back, but nonetheless he is quite a way down, and it's going to be an uphill struggle from here on in. Meanwhile, that does mean that Manuel Gonzalez leads the way ahead of Maikon Kawakami in 2nd position. 3rd place at the moment Still being held on to by Perez, but he's going to have some company from behind as well in the form of the number 55 of Alex Toledo. Keep an eye out for him. There he is. Fastest lap he set last time around as well, a 140 flat. That's a very impressive pace on these machines. So Toledo in 5th position. Just in front of him is the Realia Vinti Academy machine of Andreas Perez. Looking great so far out on track. Competed in Pre-Moto 3 for the 42 Motorsport team last year. That's Alex Rins's team, of course, who are also competing in the Moto 3 category here in the CV Repsol in 2017. Gonzalez, though, leads the way, but right on his back bumper now, or his rear fairing, I should probably say, is Kawakami once again. And Kawakami is going to be really trying to tuck in and try and make even maybe a little bit of a move into this chicane. Can't quite find the purchase, though. Can't quite find the way through for there.
Yeah, the front group's kind of split a little bit in 2 groups of 3. I think we should see here if the lap times, if they've shifted around at all. No, they're still, you know, doing their 40s. Alex, again, you know, another 40 flat. He's a fast. He's doing some good fast times here. I'm not quite sure what they did here in the test. I'm not quite sure what lap times they were doing, but I'm sure that they're not too far off.
Indeed, there is, or was, the leader, the number 26, of course, of Miguel Parra, now sitting right down in 9th position. So he didn't actually lose as much time as I thought he would. But
no, I mean, but you know, the front group's actually, they're basically running 2 seconds quicker than the group behind them. So there's quite a big gap between, you know, the fast guys and the slower ones. But I'm 100% sure, you know, Parra won't make it to the front group. He's just too far away, and there's still 10 laps to go, but it'll be difficult.
Indeed. Nonetheless, a top 10 finish would be some form of consolation for him. Better than he would have thought, I'm sure. Maikon Kawakami in the lead of the race. Now, Simon Jespersen, the Danish rider, has come from, I want to say, absolutely nowhere, but he's been slowly creeping his way up the order over the last few laps, and he is now in 2nd position and already looking to challenge for the lead against Maikon Yuji Kawakami. Will he find the way through there? Can't quite find it and make it stick at the moment, but holding on very nicely as they come into this chicane. We've seen so many passing places, so many overtaking opportunities being presented in this race so far, and we're only 7 laps in, but Kawakami does manage to hold on to the lead for the time being.
See, in these races, I always want to kind of fast forward, you know, to the last 3 laps, because the 3 laps are just going to be insane. There's probably going to be 20 passes in 2 corners, and that's what's, you know, that's what us fans love. All these exciting passing races, and it's what racing's all about.
Yeah, it certainly is. The top 4 look to have broken away just ever so slightly from Andreas Perez, who's now in 5th position and has got Johan Uvinia for company on behind as well. So keep an eye out for Uvinia. He
was rider. I hope he sees the blue flag.
Yeah, there we are. So just getting out of the way, there was the number 20, Samantha Johansson, the only female rider in the European Talent Cup in 2017. She's had a bit of a difficult berth into the championship so far, but of course it's early days as of yet, and we'll wait to see, I'm sure, her true potential as the season goes on. But it is leading the way, the number 43 now of Simon Jespersen, who's got himself ahead of Maikon Kawakami. So Kawakami now in 2nd place. Believe that graphic is incorrect, so we'll wait and see what's happening, but it does indeed look like, yes, Jespersen leading the way, Kawakami in 2nd place at the moment, and then Gonzalez holding on to 3rd position as well. But now he's got the number 55 of Alex Toledo, who's come from absolutely nowhere really to get himself on towards the tail end of this group. Some great racing going on as they come down the straight in towards the right-hander. And Toledo looking very, very menacing indeed on that number 18. He's with the Hal Courier Racing team. He's looking to try and find his way through against the number 18 of Gonzalez into the chicane. They can't quite make it stick at the moment. Meanwhile, Jespersen and the 2nd place man of Kawakami looks to have broken away ever so slightly from the 3rd place man of Gonzalez at the moment there, Dakota.
Yeah, you see, every lap it looks like the front, you know, the front 2 are slowly making a break, but then after the last corner to the 1st corner, they're back in the same group. So, like I said, it's going to be tough to break away in this front group, but it does seem like they've created a small little gap. But it'd be interesting to see if they can, you know, keep hold. We just see Simon Jespersen. He just did a 39.8,
which is the fastest lap we've seen all race.
So
Yeah, Simon Jespersen looking great out there, the Danish rider. We really weren't expecting this as well, because Jespersen qualified on the second row. He was in 5th position at the start of this race. Anything can happen in this type of racing. Runs it a little bit wide, though. Is that going to allow Kawakami a position up the inside? Indeed it does. So Kawakami takes the lead as they go into the left-hander. So a great bit of overtaking there from the Brazilian, and he now leads the way. Jespersen is in 2nd position.
And now the group's back together.
Absolutely, it really does change every lap. Lap 9 out of 18 we're on here at the European Talent Cup in the 2017 FIM CV Repsol. We thank you so much for joining us. The battle for 1st position is taking place. Kawakami leads the way ahead of the Danish rider Simon Jespersen, and now Alex Toledo has got himself ahead of Gonzalez and is up into 3rd position. And you're going to be interviewing one of these riders after the race there, Dakota. I imagine they'll...
I'm not very good at Denmark. I don't speak the Denmark language.
The Danish language.
Yeah. So I'll try my best, though.
Well, you speak pretty much every other language as well.
I do speak a few, but I still got a few more to go.
There we go. Over the timing line, it was very close between Kawakami and Jespersen. Will Jespersen find a way through into the 1st corner? No, not quite. Kawakami does continue to lead the way. There were just 0.07 of a second separating them. Toledo in 3rd position. Gonzalez holding on to 4th. Very close behind, though, is Andreas Perez and Joan Uvina as well. This is very close indeed as Perez looks up the inside. Does he manage to get himself ahead of Gonzalez? Didn't quite see. Looks like he's managed to do so. So, yes, into 4th place for Perez. A great bit of overtaking there. Nice and clean, nice and sure for him.
On these bikes, it's so important to keep the RPM super high because they don't have so much power. So, especially when you see a guy making a mistake, that's why you see him shuffle back so fast. It's kind of like when you go with your friends karting. You know, the karts are all similar. They're not super fast, and slightly little mistakes cost so much. And that's what, that's what's great about these classes is it's really the rider and how much talent you have of not making those slightly little mistakes and keeping that RPM high whenever you need to, but yeah, and keep focused.
Indeed, Joan Uvina set the fastest lap last time around, 1:39.557. That's the fastest lap we've seen here all weekend in Albacete. Of course, due to the weather conditions not helping that matter of fact. Meanwhile, Kawakami coming under pressure from behind as the Danish rider Jespersen looks to try and find a way through. Can't quite make it stick at the moment, but keep an eye out as well for this man, Joan Uvina. As I said, he was fastest last time around, and he's looking in good stead to try and get himself onto that podium charge as the riders come over the timing line. Now, just 7 and a bit laps remaining. 1/10 of a second separating them as here comes Perez with a very late move up the inside, and he moves himself into 2nd place ahead of Jespersen. Will Jespersen fight back? No, he doesn't. So Perez now sits in 2nd place, and Kawakami holding on to the lead. So all positions changing, all very close indeed, and Perez is looking to try and take the 1st victory of the European Talent Cup in 2017.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I'm looking at poor Parra, running in 8th place right now, and he's basically doing 0.3 slower than the front group, and that's where he should be right now. And he's running alone right now. It seems like he's catching Gomez in 7th place, but at least, the good part about it is they get a 2nd race at the end of the day.
Absolutely, yeah. 2 races here for the European Talent Cup today. The only category that's got 2 races here. Meanwhile, Jespersen looks to try and fight his way back against Parra. Will he find his way... sorry, not against Parra, I apologise. Against Jespersen in 2nd place as the lap rider just gets out of the way, nicely obeying the blue flags. And now this battle continues onwards for 2nd place. They're going to be side by side down the straight, and they're going to be coming up against Kawakami before long. Meanwhile, Alex Toledo ducks out from under the bubble and looks to try and have a move. Oh, and goes down does Perez. Perez crashes out. He loses the front into the right-hander. That's a disaster there for the Spaniard. He will go no further in this race, and he is apocalyptically cross. A disaster there for Andreas Perez, Dakota.
Yeah, I think he went in there a little bit maybe a little bit too fast, and a typical, front end crash.
Here we go. Here's a replay.
I think he went underneath. Did he go underneath, Jespersen?
I think he was already ahead going into that corner.
Because he seemed to take a little tighter line, and if you take a tighter line, sometimes you have to lean the bike more, and that speed, you'll lose the front. But unfortunate with him. He was doing a good race.
Yeah, really big shame there for Andreas Perez. It now becomes a three-way battle effectively at the front as Alex Toledo moves himself up into second place. There's the Danish rider Simon Jespersen. He's looking great out there so far to try and take a podium with the Team Jespersen outfit on his opening race. He's just 15 years old. By comparison, the leader, Maikon Kawakami, is also 15, and he is looking in great contention so far. Alex Toledo just about trying to hold on to second place, but keeping it very close and very honest is Jespersen in third as somebody else has gone down. That looks like it's the number 41. Is that Kevin Olmedo? Let's have a look. That's by the looks of things into the right-hander, so that looks like it could be the middle sector. Left-hander, sorry, into the middle sector of the lap. There it is. Kevin Olmedo, the Estonian rider, goes down. A really big shame. He was the only Estonian rider competing in this race. He looks okay, and he is walking away, which is the main thing.
I think he high-sided here.
Here we go.
Oh, strange.
That was nasty. That was
very
really
strange.
The rear came round, didn't it?
Yeah, it didn't even, it didn't even look like a normal high side. Very strange.
Indeed.
At least he's okay.
Yeah, we hope Kevin Olmedo is okay and no further injuries from that. Meanwhile, Jespersen hits the front as they come over the timing line. They're side by side between Kawakami and Jespersen. And here comes Toledo as well, with just under 5 laps remaining here at the FIM-CV Repsol European Talent Cup Race 1. And hitting the front into turn 1 was Alex Toledo. So Toledo leads the way. Second place being held onto by Kawakami, Jespersen as well. Don't forget about Manuel Gonzalez and Joan Uvina, who could come nicely into play towards the end of this race.
You see, Toledo was basically in third, and when he crossed the finish line and went straight to first from at the first first corner. So thinking in this race, and you're racing and you're thinking what's going to be the best position to be in for the last 3 corners, because you might get slipstreamed into first place. So I think right now the best position to be in would be third or second for that last lap. You don't really want to be leading at the last corner in the last lap, and but there's still 5 laps to go and anything could happen.
It certainly could. The European Talent Cup living up to much promise, and Kawakami looking to try and find his way through against Jespersen in second place. Meanwhile, we should mention the Britons as well that are competing in this. Jamie Davis is holding on to 13th position in this race, so he's dropped back a couple of positions after he qualified, and Jack Hard is sitting in 22nd place, whilst Callum Blackwell is just in front of him in 20th position. It set his personal best last time around as well.
Parra just went by to 7th place, and still running, half a sec, 0.3 from the top. So, and now basically the top 5 guys are in 39s. That's basically their lap by lap rhythm. Joan just did a 39.5, quickest time.
Yeah, indeed, the fastest time we've seen all race in towards the first section or sequence of corners, we should say. Alex Toledo leads the way. He's at the fastest lap, 1:39.327. 13 laps out of 18 completed now on the 14th. Jespersen needs to try and find his way through once again ahead of Toledo. Great race going on this in the European Talent Cup, living up to much promise, much hype that we've seen throughout the 2017 pre-season. There was Jack